I want to welcome you to our Webb Together Online. Thank you for coming. I'm Laura Wensley, Director of Alumni Relations here at the Webb School. So let's welcome our guest, Yosh Han, Vivian Webb School of Class of 1989. She's joining us from San Francisco. Hello, Yosh.
Hi, I'm actually down in LA right now. I normally am in San Francisco, but I'm hanging out with my parents because they're in the vulnerable age range where they can't go outside. So I thought I'd help them out and be close with them. So living at the parents' house.
Wonderful, like a lot of kids are. When news broke that classes were going online, we had a lot of outpouring of alumni support for our students. And you were actually the first alum who contacted me asking, how can I help? And I want to ask you why. What made you want to reach out to Webb at this time? And is there something special about your Webb experience that, made you reach out?
Yeah, I mean, I feel recently connected because I just celebrated a 30-year anniversary. And when I saw all the classmates, I was just like, wow, I haven't seen some of these people in 30 years. And yet, just like that, minus one or two glasses of wine, and it was this instant reconnection. And I think that that's very rare. And even if we weren't that close at Webb, I did find that there was a certain level of family and community that I haven't been able to really actually replicate, even though I've tried. I belong to sororities, I belong to lots of clubs, I've started lots of communities. But for me, I think Webb is like OG as far as like a true community. And also this notion, especially now, flash forward 30 years, it's also for me was a true, not necessarily digital, but a remote community. So I've been nomadic for the last few years. And I think that you could have this community no matter where you're from. I think that notion for a lot of people is just catching up now, 30 years later. And so for me, when I saw that the classes were, all the schools were closing, I of course immediately thought of Webb and what I can do, because as alumni, I still feel connected to the community. And I think just what can I do? Because even when I was at Webb, I always thought of being of service. So I think wonderful. For me, being at Webb taught me so many things: the honor code, what it means to be an A+ human in society. Those are the things that are important to me still. And what I find incredible is I wish everyone would get kind of the Webb programming, because I find myself as an adult starting lots of other communities, starting my own business, other business practices. No one gets this memo. The honor code is so ingrained in my DNA now. And if I can impart that to anyone else, I try. But, it's this programming that we get for 4 years. And it's such an incredible way to just live life that I had to reach out, because I felt not only my duty, but I just wanted to share my offerings now from where I am at this moment. So I want to thank you for accepting my offering, because the reciprocity is also important in community relationships. So thank you.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge that you posted a really lovely message on our Class of 2020 message board. And we actually had over 100 alumni, parents and friends and students and teachers posting really heartfelt messages out to the Class of 2020. And I want to thank everyone out there who's shared a note for them. And I've heard from some seniors as well as their parents, and they're all really touched by the outpouring of support and love from our Webb community. Great. So we have some people online now. Hello to everybody. So welcome. Let's get started. To our audience, we, like Yosh said before, we'd love to know who's joining us today. So if you can use the comment section to please say your name and share your city and class if you like. Okay, so this morning when I woke up, I realized that I had had a dream about being in the dining hall and having lunch with my Webb friends. And I think, it's indicative of many of us here at Webb. We're missing many of the things that make our community so special. And but through events like today, our Webb Together Online with you, Yosh, our goal is to stay connected as a community and celebrate our core values. So each week we're actually going to be focusing on a different theme. And this week we are celebrating unbounded thinking, which is one of my favorite core values of Webb. And I can think of no one better than Yosh Han to be our guest speaker about this. She's a Reiki healer and a highly recognized aura reader. And for the last couple of years, I believe she's been following her heart and passion and working and traveling around the world. And today she's going to share with us her meditation process, as well as 4 unbounded energy tools to help us clear our minds and be creative and be the unbounded thinkers that Webbies are. So please give it up for Yosh Han.
Thank you, everyone, for joining this morning. I'm really glad that you could spend a short time with us. And I want to acknowledge that we had a few technical glitches. So welcome. And then what we're going to do now is talk a little bit about meditation, how to get into that mindset. And also then I'll walk you through a couple of exercises that you can do at home at any time. I use some of these tools even when I'm on the bus, on Uber, not when I'm driving, because when you're in that meditative state, you don't want to be operating any vehicles. So the first one we're going to do is just grounding. And this is really important to let your body be connected in present time. So everybody has a physical body and also a spiritual body. And the space between your physical body and your spiritual body is your aura. And so many times what happens is, you know, we've got a lot going on, we have emotions, we have stress, and sometimes what happens is our spiritual body disconnects a little bit from our physical body. And so sometimes you might feel scattered, sometimes you might feel a little bit spaced out or out of it. And that's just an indicator that you're not really connected to self and integrated. So what you want to do is just a very simple grounding exercises. So if you're in a chair, go ahead and relax, put your feet on the ground. And if you're laying down, I encourage you to sit up. What happens is when your body is upright, it allows you to relax, but also stay present. And so instead of falling asleep meditation, we're actually going to be in that space between kind of like right when you're hitting the snooze button, you're kind of awake, but kind of asleep. Well, instead of hitting snooze and falling back asleep, you're going to kind of rest in that dream state a little bit. So that's the easy method. So go ahead and sit back in your chair, relax. And we're going to breathe a little bit together, and then we're going to ground ourselves. This is the grounding tool. So when I breathe in, you're going to breathe with me and then exhale. So we'll do that 3 times. Ready? Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One last breath. Inhale. And exhale. And from this place, that's great. I can see everyone's energies has settled down a little bit. So from this place, you're going to keep your eyes closed or just slightly gazing, palms up on your laps. That's right. And then you're going to imagine from the base of your spine, a grounding cord like an anchor for a boat. And you want to make sure this is a substantial anchor, at least the size of your physical body. And let that chain roll down through the water, through the ocean floor, and let it hit the center of the planet. And when that chain goes all the way down, you want to make sure it's taut, right? So you want to make sure it's not moving around, you're not swaying, it's just straight down. There you go. You can feel your body click, and that's when you know you've got security in the earth. There you go. And if that chain doesn't work, you can use another imagery or symbol. Sometimes I change it up and I use, you know, a big log, or sometimes I use gold. Sometimes it's bejeweled. So anything that allows you to connect to the center of the earth. I like to use the anchor image, but you can also be in the woods, in a tree, and let it go all the way to the center of the earth. There you go. And from this grounding cord, you're gonna actually, like a garbage disposal, hit a switch or a remote control and just let any anxiety, excess energy, anything toxic, anything that's making you uncomfortable. And when you hit that switch, everything just gets drained down that grounding cord. And the earth loves all the energy that you send it, whether it's anger, frustration, sadness, grief. It just, if you dump all that down your grounding cord, the energy actually will recycle it. The earth will actually recycle it. So go ahead and just also look at the velocity and how fast or slow. Like if you have a lot of stuff going on that might feel a little bit sluggish, I would kind of turn that speed up. You can imagine a dial and just let all that stuff run out. There you go. Good. So I see lots of people now kind of releasing or washing all your toxicity down that drain, down that cord. Perfect. And you're going to continue to breathe. Breathe in as you're dumping all that stuff out. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. And one more inhale, and one more exhale. That's good. So I see that some of you have some stuck energies. Like what I see is some of you are just putting your grounding cord to the top of the earth. I want you to let it go all the way to the center of the planet. So miles and miles and miles down. Yeah, there you go. Then you like really have that force to release all that energy that doesn't belong to you. Maybe you have some fear around corona, fear around not being near your friends, anxiety, homesickness. You know, homesickness for Webb, even though you might be at home, you have like kind of a homesickness for your former life. There you go, that grief. There you go. So I can see now that was a big one. So just let all that stuff go. Anxiety for your former life. So let all that go so that your body can actually release anything associated from the past and come into present time. There you go. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. There you go. And then I'm gonna actually take you up on a little gondola ride. So we're gonna stay in this grounding energy and you're gonna come back into your body and then we're gonna take a little gondola ride. So imagine now in your chair that you're actually in a gondola. And from this gondola chair, you're gonna go up and up and up the mountain. And you're just gonna look around and see the view and notice that you're actually in the gondola going up the mountain. You can see below and it's lots of beautiful, you know, green hillside. It's springtime. The snow has begun to melt. You're noticing the sounds of birds and this gondola ride is going up the mountain, up the tree line, past the tree line and into the clouds. You're now up on this gondola above the mountains and you start to see the birds, you start to see the clouds and you see the sun. And the golden sun that you see belongs to you and nobody else. That's your energy. And you can feel the warmth of the sun surrounding everywhere around you, on your back, to the side of you. It's just the perfect temperature to make your body feel loose and warm. This golden sun has all the energy that belongs to you, your personal essence, and everything that you've dreamed about in the future, and also what you want in life. And you're gonna imagine this golden sun above your crown while you're sitting in that gondola chair, and then bring that golden sun's energy through the top of your head and let it melt into your body, plumping up all your cells, healing the cells, and releasing any anxiety or darkness or shadow in your body, any pain, any anxiety, any tension, anywhere that your body feels tight. This golden sun energy is gonna plump your cells up from the inside out so that your fingers begin to tingle, your toes begin to tingle, and you've got this warm, almost like liquid energy from the sun filling you up. And you're just gonna soak that in, breathe in the sun's power, especially on the back of your aura. Yeah, there you go. Let it go down your back, your hips, especially since you're sitting in that gondola chair. And then you're gonna start to come down. The gondola has made its turn. It's starting to come down the mountainside. You see the clouds, you can hear the birds. You're now coming into tree line. You notice some squirrels, and you look below. It's so spacious. There's just so much beauty and nature around you. You come down the mountain hill, coming down, you can start to see the outline of some houses, the golf course, or whatever you're looking at. And you're coming down, down, down the mountain. You start to see the chalet, and you start to see the base of the mountain. And you see that we've arrived. There's a ski patrol person helping you off the gondola chair. There you go. And now you're back on earth, on firm ground, and you feel refreshed. There you go. Great. And you start to just wiggle your toes, rub your hands together. That's great. And just take a deep breath and open your eyes and come into being. And we're going to check in with the group. If you want to write notes about how that made you feel, what's going on in your body, then Laura will translate those notes to me. I can see that a lot of you have calmed down, that some of you are still holding things in your chest and your belly area. So we'll do another meditation for that. Take a deep breath. Okay, great. So we don't have any questions yet, so that's fine. We're gonna do one of my favorite tools. It's called the golden edge of your aura. So you'll remember that I said that everyone has a physical body, and then everyone has a spiritual body, and that space between your spiritual body and your physical body is your aura. And so you're gonna actually just rub your hands together. There you go. And really get that friction going. This is what some people would call prana, or some people would call chi. And I just like to call it your like elastic energy. And so like I can feel, for example, there's like tingly spots here between my hands. There you go. So you don't have to be super gentle, right? You can like, some people like who are very energetic, there you go. Yeah. And when you do that, that's really your essence, your energy. And what I like to do is feel your aura. I know my screen looks like super miraculous, like supernatural or something, but you can feel your aura, and you can even like wave your arms out. So I've got some energy in my left hand from literally being stuck to my phone a lot. And so I can feel that it's a little bit heavy, and I'm gonna just like swipe it, and you can flick any like heavy energy or stuck energy. You don't wanna flick it at a person, so you can flick down or flick out away from you. And some people also just like to shake their hands, right? So you can imagine outlining the shape of your physical body, like maybe 6 inches away from you. So there we go. So see, I'm outlining my aura. Don't forget the back. There you go. And any place that you feel is a little bit lumpy. Oh, like, right. Okay, so I could feel that some of you have some, a little bit more sluggish energy around the heart. And I see that many of you are quite empathetic. And so this is exactly why you need this tool called the golden edge of your aura. So anything that doesn't belong to you, like especially because corona is related to the lungs and the heart chakra, which is the fourth chakra. And also it affects the fifth communication layer right here. So anything that doesn't belong to you, you're actually going to take out of your aura and release it back to the planet. The reason why it's important is to have your own physical space. Great question. I'm going to address this great question about how do you reset in the moment when you need it, right? So this is one tool, is checking in with your own aura, right? So you're checking in. Is this anxiety that I feel right here constricting my throat and my lungs and my heart? Does that belong to me? Because many of you are empathetic. You actually want to release anything that doesn't belong to you, so that you are in your own neutrality and you have your, this is what it means to have personal space, right? So when you need to reset, it literally means I need to check in with myself. Okay, let me check in with myself. Let me sit down in a space and check in with my golden sun. Great, okay, my golden sun is above my head and it's, you know, filling me up. My edge of my aura. Is there anyone else in my personal space? Okay, good. There's a lot of anxiety. Let me release that down my grounding cord so that everybody is out of my personal space, right? So these are the three tools for exactly resetting. The grounding cord brings you into present time. The golden sun brings you into alignment with yourself. And then the golden edge of your aura allows you to separate yourself from all the other stuff that's going on, including, you know, you could be in your family environment, a partnership relationship, your pets, your children, your parents, my parents. Thank God my aunt lives down the street and she's not here. So I'm at her house now because I need some physical space from my parents whom I love, but sometimes they can be irritating. But sometimes when I'm, you know, having lunch or dinner with them and they get in my space, I just, in my mind, imagining that my golden sun, my energy, and literally putting almost like a Wonder Woman invisible shield around me. Yeah, there you go. And that golden edge of the aura, you can change the space, like how close you want it or how far you want it. So a lot of times when I'm giving presentations and in talks, I'll make my aura really big so that the people in the back of the theater can literally see my aura a little bit more. And how you know it's someone's aura or your aura, what color is your aura? Most people are intuitive and they just haven't tapped into it intellectually, right? Like when you're sitting in a cafe and you sense that someone came in the room and you turn around and you're like, oh, it's my friend. Or you think about somebody and then they call you, or you get a text message. Or babies are really aware of people's energies and auras, that you'll be in an elevator, then suddenly someone comes in and the baby who has been dead asleep is like suddenly like crying and fussy. So energetically, sometimes we don't see things, but we feel it. And that's what it means to be empathetic, right? So when you need to reset, it's probably because lots of interference energetically is in your way. So you can think of yourself as an antenna, and you think of yourself of, okay, is my antenna broadcasting clearly? And also, am I able to receive, like a satellite dish, information? And what you want is your own information, right? Your own information from your golden sun. Or some people might say it's direct source to divine or supreme being, whatever your religion, your direct connection to God, Allah, Buddha, whatever. Or, you know, I like to just connect to Mother Nature. And so it's not to like put some sort of wall up. That's not what I'm saying. It's a golden energy. And so it allows you just that separation, because it's important to have your own alignment and your own personal sense of space, especially when you're feeling anxiety, because you have to understand, is it your anxiety or does it belong to somebody else? And when you have clarity, then you actually have space for unbounded thinking, right? That's the whole point of this theme, is unbounded thinking. One other thing that you can do to reconnect is to have a digital free zone. So it's important to have space and time, maybe try for half an hour a day or an hour a day where you put your cell phone, if you belong in a household with lots of cell phones and they're all over the house, all those waves are like bing, 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 bing. So you don't actually have any personal space because everyone's energy is like, look, yeah, like my screen, that's exactly what it feels like energetically, right? So if you can have half an hour or an hour, especially around the dinner table, everyone's cell phones, everyone's laptops, iPads, everything, just put that aside to have a digital free zone. And that's going to give you not just mental clarity, energetic clarity for your own unbounded thinking to be channeled through you. When you practice the golden sun, that's your golden sun. That's your direct access to your unbounded thinking, your ability to be super creative, have original thoughts that, because every person is a magical being. You are a magical being with a higher purpose, a gift. Yeah, so as far as like when is the best time to do this, I like to do it in the morning because it sort of sets the tone. And then that was a really great question. Well, what happens when I get derailed? So when you get derailed, it's not fatal. It's not, hopefully, it's also not like the end of the world where you're just like, oh man, I got derailed. That person really irritated me. Like yesterday, I went to the post office and I was like, great, I've got, 5 orders for my perfume company and I'm going to go to the post office. Well, everyone and their mom had the idea to go to the post office at Friday at 4 o'clock. What was I thinking? So I had to turn around because there were like 50 people and I didn't want to be in that environment. So I was a little bit flustered and I started to go into that anxiety, anger, frustration, panic mode. Like, why is everyone going to the post office right now? And so I lost my personal space in that moment. And so I just literally stopped myself mid parking lot, gave myself a golden sun, reset my aura, which had become porous, because what happens is, when you're kind of in your own bubble and then you have to go outside to the grocery store, or, you suddenly get online on your phone and your phone is blown up, then suddenly your golden aura is not shattered per se, but it becomes porous. Then you have lots of outside interference. That's a good time to just say, oops, I lost my space. Let me reset. And again, as I said, once you practice this tool, you can do this. And what happens is when you set your energy to golden sun, to your aura, you will change the energy of everyone around you, your friends, your family. They're going to notice that you have sovereignty over your personal space. They're going to notice that you have something different about your energy. It's a little bit brighter, you're smiling a little more, because when you're connected to your unbounded thinking, your creative divine source, everyone around you is going to notice and give you space. And so you will energetically start to influence others around you. And then when they ask you, wow, you look different, you seem different, what is it? You can say, well, I've been meditating a little bit more. I started out with 30 seconds and I was, in the beginning, not able to meditate for more than 30 seconds. And what happens is you practice over time. Then you can do a meditation for a minute. Meditation for, if you can do meditation for a minute, you'd be surprised. Even though I just said have a digital free zone, if you're learning to meditate, it's nice to have the timer. I like to use insight timer or calm meditation, or just the sound of silence, or even one ocean sound song. You can find these like meditation playlists on Spotify or SoundCloud. And I like to think of it like, okay, I'm going to just meditate for one song. I'm going to meditate for 3 songs. And it could be, 3 like soft, easy, chill music, or just the sounds of birds or oceans. And you'd be surprised. Like at first you'll be like, oh my God, I have so much monkey mind. I have so many thoughts in my mind. I can't meditate. And then you might be also nervous because your kids might be coming in the room. Someone's going to say, hey, I need this, this, and this. Well, that's because energetically you're putting out the energy of, I need some personal space. And people who are codependent, people who are needy, are suddenly going to feel like they got the energetic memo saying you need your personal space. And they're going to be like, why do you have a do not disturb sign up? I'm used to getting all your attention. This is exactly why you need to meditate and create some personal space around you. It creates a personal boundary energetically without you having to say, hey, get out of my life, get out of my space. I need some time for myself. You'll just naturally not get out of my life. That sounds very mean, but sometimes that happens. You're just like, I need some space. No, so what you want to do is just learn to have that space for yourself. Let's do another one closing meditation. How about that? Right, so we're gonna bring in the idea of a digital free zone, right? So just imagine what that feels like. It feels like open spaciousness, like let's do a beach exercise. Yeah, or let's go to like Webb. Let's imagine ourselves outside in the hills and you're just walking. There you go. That's a nice visual. All right, so we're gonna do 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So you're just taking a walk. It doesn't have to be Webb, it could be anywhere, but you're just taking a walk. You've left your phone at home, no laptop, no kids, no parents, no friends, no dogs. It's just you, so that you can be free to have your unbounded thinking thoughts. There you go. So you're just gonna walk and you're just gonna notice how relaxed you are. You're gonna notice sounds that you didn't even hear before, the birds, distant lawnmower, people laughing in the distance, or the sound of silence. And as you're walking, you notice the clouds, you notice how warm the sun is, and you notice how spacious things are, and you notice how quiet things just got. In this digital free zone, you suddenly connect with your higher power, your unbounded thinking, and your creative source. And it can be easy, and it doesn't have to be elongated. You just instantly get into that unbounded creative thinking by just giving yourself that personal space. Great. So in addition to connecting with yourself, that's great. We're gonna, I know that seemed very quick, but sometimes that's all you have, like literally 15 seconds for yourself. And that's sometimes all you need. And that will eventually last into longer sessions. So, okay, let me post the insight timer. And also you can always connect with me. I teach a lot, and I'm also producing a digital scent festival. And what I'll do is I'll give that information to Laura, and then you can find me there for private aura readings or more meditation classes. The Digital Scent Festival is almost a 2-month-long programming of scent and music, scent and sustainability, scent and design. So reach out, connect with me, and if you have any questions or comments, just post them down, or you can send them to Laura and we'll reach out. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning.